Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Facebook James coming to you live from Dolphin Studios. Check it out. On the other end of the intro, we're going to talk about, this upcoming weekend, our championship game, and then also we're going to recap the game against Narbonne. So stick around and welcome to This Week in Pali Football with your boy, Facebook James. All right, we'll see you on the other side.
Hey, win on me, win on three, ready, 1, 2, 3. Win! Oh, yeah! Stop playing with a piece! 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 Stop playing with a piece!
Some call it the gridiron.
Nice route, way to skim it.
Others, 100 yards of pain.
Too much.
We just like to call it football.
Football.
With Facebook James.
Football, baby.
Hey, football baby. Man. It's a wonderful day over here in Dolphin Studios, a.k.a. My studio. Hey, welcome to another episode of This Week in Pali Football. And who would have thought that we would have been doing this thing week number 14, man, into the season. So it's always a privilege to come on here and have some fun, man, just talking about Pali football. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and share the feed if you would like to, and let your friends and family know that you're watching the Pali Football Recap with Facebook James, man, this week in Pali Football. And you know what? If you have some time right now, go ahead and drop a couple of comments. So I'm going to go ahead and, just checking, making sure our socials are good. So hello from YouTube World. Let me just go ahead and center that real quick. Booyah. There we go. And then for those of you who are watching on YouTube, it's very, very cool. And then Maureen says, hey, go Pali. Absolutely. Go Pali, go Pali, go Pali. And then I'm just giving a warm welcome from Dolphin Studio. And then Maureen asks a wonderful question. She says, are you sick, Facebook James? Maureen, you know what? I have just a little sick, little nasal drip, and I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. You probably heard it in my voice in the intro. So, we just drinking some tea, just trying to take care, and definitely we'll be ready for Friday, okay? And then my friend Eric says, ship bound, let's go. Absolutely, man. Yes, sir. We bound, getting ready for that championship game, and it's going to be a wonderful Saturday afternoon. And so we'll talk about the date, time, and location, all that kind of good stuff. And then my good friend Corey, she says, go Pali. Absolutely. So you guys, welcome to the show. And we'll try to do some interactive things near the end of the show as well. So I just appreciate you guys hopping in. And let's go ahead and start this thing. Like Maureen said, I am feeling a little sicky poo. So, I definitely want to, rest my vocal cords and all that kind of good stuff. But let's go ahead and do what we normally do. Let's see. So, actually, you know what, dads? You do not have to worry about being on the chain gang or selling any merch or selling any hot dogs and hamburgers from the concession stand, because all of that is taken care of by the Los Angeles City section. They'll take care of it. So dads, basically I just put this up here, or dads, moms, cousins, aunties, those of you who served during our football games. We really appreciate all of the volunteers. Sometimes it was a struggle to get some volunteers to man our booths, and on the field and things of that nature. But we made it through another season. The 2022 season is almost over. So just wanted to shout out all of those parents, those volunteers who helped us out Friday after Friday, sometimes on a Thursday. We really, really appreciate your support. And so, but as always, just because the season is almost over doesn't mean that you cannot go and buy your Pali football merch. And maybe, hopefully, we can have some kind of championship merch as well. So stay tuned. But, it doesn't have to be in season for you to go purchase your football merch. So there you go. pressandsew.com/Pali football. And then I want to mention this as well because last week I failed to mention that I got all excited with all the graphics and us playing Narbonne. Definitely, if you are a Pali football family, right? If you're a Pali football player, we're going to have our banquet on December 11th right there in, I believe, Mercer Hall. I believe that's what it's called. And so more details will be sent out. So please make sure when the all call goes out, make sure you reply accordingly. It is very, very important. We're going to have a wonderful time. It's usually just a time of food, fun, to borrow this line from church, food, fun, and fellowship, and also football. That's the other F. So we're going to have some time. So just mark that on your calendars, December 11th from 12 to 3. It's a wonderful time to celebrate Pali football. And what else do we have here? So you probably wonder, Facebook James, how do we get to where we are right now? Well, let's just gotta go back down. Let's kind of go back down memory lane for a hot second, okay? So memory lane, of course. We went 7-3 on the season, correct? 7-3. We had 10 games, and so our first game was against Huntington Park at the Stadium by the Sea, and of course, I think we won that game 42-0, I believe. Wonderful game, and then we were challenged a little bit at the in the Domley game, just a tad. I think the final score for that was 42-14, I believe. And then last week we had our wonderful game against, one of the city giants at one time, Narbonne High School, and so it got kind of close near the end. But I believe the final score was 46-35, and so by virtue of us winning this particular football game against Narbonne, we have been catapulted. We get to go to the championship, like Eric said a couple of minutes ago. Hey, we championship bound, and so hopefully. You guys will definitely come on out and hang out with us. And so you got the information right there. It's going to be played this coming Saturday, 3 o'clock at Los Angeles Valley College, which is a nice venue. That was a game where we played St. Genevieve. And so we're fully aware where Los Angeles Valley College. And so the game is slated to start around 3 o'clock. And so come on out, support the boys, bring your family and friends, and, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful football game, all right? So we want you to come on out and support. I believe the tickets are already available on gofan.co. You know what? Hold on, I'm missing something here. I knew it was something. Okay, there we go. So gofan.co, go ahead and get your tickets, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful night of Pali football. So let's go ahead and hop into some of the, the other particulars in terms of how we got to where we are. So I think that's the right button right there. And let me shrink this just a tad so you guys can see all the goodness that we're cooking up over here. Are you not working for me today? Is that what we're doing? Okay, hold on. Let me fix something here. So you guys can see, partial, some of the goodness. Let me just put it all in one little area here. Okay, there we go. All right, now you should be able to see everything. I was actually see if I can enlarge it just a little bit. There you go. All right, so we have the Los Angeles City Section CIF bracket, and we talked about this last week. Granada Hills is up there in the top bracket. They were ranked number 1, and so that's going to be our opponent down here. Right over here, if you can see my mouse, that's where we are. And then our pathway took a little bit different, but we were the number 3 seed, and so this is the game that we're going to recap right here. So we look forward to playing LA Valley College, 11/26 at 3 p.m. Come on out. All right, so let's go over some stats. Okay, let's go over some stats. So the Gauchos, Dolphins, 45-36. It got kind of close at the end. Right, they started to try to come back a little bit, but ultimately the Dolphins did what the Palo Dolphins do. They played hard and they actually won. So let's go over some of the scoring right here. as recorded by Max Preps. And so we scored 7 points in the first quarter. They scored 14. We then turned around in the third quarter. We had a third quarter explosion, scoring 28 points. And then they scored 6. We scored 10 points, and then they scored 16 points, making the final score 45 to 36. And so let's just kind of look at some of the passing comparisons. Now, they had a legit team. But our defense kind of stepped up to the plate and did what they normally do. We normally have good defense, and so on Friday they stepped up and really competed and played very, very hard. So here we go. Let's look at the passing comparisons. Our guy, Roman Lascala, he was 16 for 27, 223 yards. Pretty dope. 2 touchdowns. And, the week before, I think he totaled Roman only totaled about 83 total yards. And so big difference between this game and the game against Dominic. So he was definitely on point. And then also look at Ryan Corley for Narbonne, if you will. I mean, he was throwing the rock too. I mean, he was 27 for 47, 381 yards. He had 4 touchdown passes. So he was a little bit taller. Those tall dudes who can see over the line, they can get the ball out to their receivers because they got a little bit more of a height advantage. But he had a nice arm as well. So, giving respect to where respect is due, right? But we came out on top. So congrats to Roman just doing what we know he can do. And then our rushing game was probably one of the difference makers in our game. So you see Chris Washington, 16 for 83. He had 1 rushing touchdown. Savior got in there, 7 for 18. Roman Lascala, 4 for 23. Not only did he do it with his arms, he also did it with his feet. So Roman actually scored the first touchdown of the game. Anthony Lieberman, the birthday boy, he got in there 6 times, 6 carries, 40 yards, and he also had a touchdown. And then they had a handful of guys. I'm not going to go through all of their rushing yards, but you can tell they had a total of 97 rushing yards. We had a total of 164. So our rushing kind of put us over. They did not score any rushing TDs. We actually scored 3 on the ground, so it's a big difference. And then you see our receiving crew. We talked about Roman throwing 223 yards. Well, here it is. Here's the breakdown. Amari Yolis was wonderful. He had 4 catches. I was going to say he had only 4 catches, but those 4 catches were spectacular, and 2 of them were for touchdowns. Chris Washington, he caught a wonderful pass, a 61-yard pass. Brandon Sanford, he was 4 for 23, and Sean Greer had 5 for 38 yards, and then Michael King Hagan, he had 1 catch for 45 yards. So, that's pretty awesome. And then some of their receivers again, Corley, he threw for 381 yards. So they know how to sling the rock. They know how to catch the rock as well. Mr. Villegas right here, he had 5 receptions for 135 yards. So he was probably their main target of the night and doing what they normally do. They hook up and score some points. And I told you last week, it doesn't matter in terms of how many points Max Prep says that you average. Our average point per game was at 36, 38 points. Narbonne, their average point total was about 18 yards. So it really didn't matter because, as you can see, as we just showed you, they're able to score some points. I mean, they put some, 36 points on the board. So they, I don't know what happened during the rest of the season. The past 2 games, they scored 34 points against Carson, 36 points against us. They know how to play. But, the name of the game is score more points than your opponent, and that's what we did. So good job all around by the Dolphins. And then here's just some all-purpose yards. I mean, there's tons of data on here. And just thankful for the coaches for putting data inside Max Prep so early so that we can take a look at it. So Amari Yolis, again, he had a phenomenal night. Kick return, 95-yard kick return, which is pretty dope. Christopher, he was in there. He had a total of 144 yards. And so those were our 2 yards, yardage leaders, if you will, all-purpose yards. And then total yards, again, you see it right there. Washington, La Scala, Mariolas, just doing what they do. And if we get into the tackles, now this is what I like to get into as well. Now, unfortunately, Narbonne didn't put any of their tackles on their defensive side. But here's what we had: guys flying to the ball all over the place. So you had Jake Tribach, 13 tackles. We had Matthew Spudamore, 11 tackles. We had, let me see, I saw someone with 8. Xavier Riley had 8. We had, what's Jesse? Jesse usually has about, almost double digits, 8, 9, or 10 tackles. He had 5. And then Eric Daniels was in there. Eric Daniels was playing his heart out as well. He had 7 tackles, and then even had him and another player had a couple of sacks. So let me see. There we go. Nicholas Brown, he had a sack. That's my boy. And Eric Daniels, they each had a sack as well. So Cash Allen on the defensive side of the ball again, he had an interception. So all of the boys were really, really playing hard. And that's what we're going to need at the next level. We're going to need them to play very, very hard against Granada Hills. Now, if I can recall your attention back to week number 2, I believe. Week 2, the game was canceled against Granada Hills because of fire. They had either fire the day of, and they decided to call off the game, way late into the, it was almost like 1 o'clock. The game was called. They canceled the game because of fire. And so our boys are really, really excited to play Granada Hills in this particular game because, number one, it's a renewal of a sort of the Charter Bowl, right? Even though we're not playing for the Charter Bowl trophy, we're still playing Granada Hills. And so the boys are thinking, okay, this is a good game to play, even though the Charter Bowl, something a little bit more greater is on the line here. Not just a Charter Bowl, it's a Los Angeles City Section Division I title. So the boys are kind of licking their chops. They really want to get into the football game. They can't wait to play. And so they were very, very excited after our win against Narbonne. So, matter of fact, this time I do have some recaps. You guys want to see some recaps? Let me go ahead. Let's see. Let me go ahead and dig into the comments real quick. If you want to see the recap of the game, some videos, let me know. Just give me a couple of thumbs up. Maureen says, sure can hear it. Please stay healthy. Absolutely. I'm definitely going to stay healthy. And I think it's partially because my wife likes to sleep with the fan on at night. So like the other night, I actually went to bed with a hoodie on. And I wasn't sick. I was just like, man, this just gets cold. So I don't know if it's a combination of that. And then Tiffany says, can't wait for the big game, and of course the banquet. Oh, Tiffany, it's going to be wonderful. But first thing first. First things are first. We're definitely going to take care of business on Friday. The guys are excited. Even my son, he actually told my wife, he's like, hey, I think I might want to dress up in a business suit. You know how the guys, you know how you see the NFL players, roll out to the game and all dressed up, suited and booted. Yeah, that's what he's kind of thinking that he might want to do. And so that's cool. Deion Sanders, the coach of Jackson State, says, hey, if you dress well, if you look good, hold on, let me get that quote together. Let me get that. If you look good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. So even though the guys are not necessarily getting paid to play on Saturday, if you look good, you're gonna play good, right? And so that's kind of his mindset about playing good. Lisa says, let's do it. Absolutely. All right, so I'm sure Lisa's talking about the recap. So I do have it queued up here. So you guys ready for the recap? Yeah, I'm ready for the recap. So here we go. This is just a recap video of some of the wonderful plays that Casey LaScala sent over to me this afternoon. And again, I just chose the random. I didn't put them in any order. So you're going to see a mixture of offense and defense, rushing touchdowns, receiving touchdowns, some defense. Hopefully there's a couple of sacks in there, interceptions. You know what? But instead of me just talking about it, let me go ahead and just hit the button. So let me turn off my music here, and let's get ready to enjoy the Narbonne Palisades Dolphins recap video. Here we go. There you go. Woo! Man, I can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Those boys were playing their heart out on Friday night. And here's a couple of takeaways, man. That run by Amari, just awesome. And I don't know if you had a chance to check out Twitter. So one of our photographers, Craig Wesson, he posted a picture of Amari throwing up the deuces as he was running, that punt return all the way back. So I thought it was very, very great. And then talking to Amari, we're about to hop into the preview. He knows some of the players from Going Down the Hills. As a matter of fact, one of their faster players from Granada, Dijon Stanley. Amari's like, oh no, that's my dude. We run track together, and so they've been competing for a while. Amari has, you see his speed. His speed is top notch. Competed, I heard, in the city finals in the 100 and 200. So he has some burners, and so does this other guy, Dejon Stanley, and actually his cousin as well. So let's go ahead and hop into the comments before we hop over into discussing just a preview of the upcoming football game. So Maureen says, did you see where the team is ranked number 2 in the city and Roman ranked number 2? I did not, but I do have a graphic I want to show you. And then she says, sorry, they were ranked 3, not 2. Okay. And then she says Roman was number 3 out of 82. And Corey says, great recap video. Thank you very much. Now, I haven't seen the city records, or rankings. But what I can tell you is, since you put up that comment, Maureen, I was able to go over to the Western League stats, and so right now, and I'll look at the city stats as well for the Division One, bracket. So Roman is he's ranked number 2 in the Western League. Western League meaning Palisades, Westchester, Hamilton, Fairfax, University, and is that 6? Oh, in Venice. So out of those guys, all of those teams, Roman's ranked number 2. He's just right behind the Venice QB, Paul Kessler, right? And so you see some other guys right there. And I can keep going on and on. Even Zach, he got a little, he's ranked number 8. And so that's very cool. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of categories, as you can see right here. So I can go through some of them. Actually, let's go ahead and see who's the rushing leader right now, just for the Western League, okay? So let's go ahead and click on it. Let's see what happens here. Who do you think? Who do you think is the Western League? Who's at the top of the Western League in terms of rushing? So, my vote will be, it's going to be very close with maybe one of the guys from Venice and one of our guys, Christopher Washington. So let me scroll and see who it is. So rushing. Okay, so number 1, look at that right there, Christopher Washington. And I hadn't looked at this before. Christopher Washington, he is first in the Western League, okay, with 1,292 yards. Let's see, he's had 12 touchdowns. Terrell Boatner, Robert Lamar from Venice, and so it goes on and on. Anthony Lieberman, 544 rushing yards. So you got, and even Xavier, look at that. Xavier's had 327 yards. So that's pretty cool. To have 3 guys from Pali in the top 10 in the Western League. Okay, Western League only. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty dope right there. Even Roman, look at Roman's ranked number 17 in rushing. Okay, he's not a running back, but just in rushing. So that's pretty cool. You got some mention right there. Even we got Michael and some other guys as well. So that's pretty cool. And then maybe tackles. Let's look at one more. Let's do tackles. Let's see who's near the top in the top 5 for tackles for the Western League. And then we'll hop over to the preview of the Granada Hills Pali football championship football game. Okay. So, again, this is only Western League. As you can see at the top, Western League. And now we got Robert Lamar. He has 96 tackles. Cameron Moran, he has 83. And Xavier's right behind with 76. We have Jesse with 74. Let me see. Yeah, so we don't have any more in the top 10. Jake Tribatch, he has 60 tackles on the season. So those are pretty good. Matthew Spoonermore, number 16, with 48 tackles. Amari Yolis has 43. Okay. Cash Allen with 43. Marcus Brown with 42. So that's pretty dope to have a couple of guys, at least 5 or 6 guys in the top 25 in terms of tackles. So that's pretty dope. So hopefully we can continue. Let's go ahead and preview the game against Granada Hills, all right? So, again, Granada Hills, that's a team that we normally play our Charter Bowl. We did not play this year because of fire. So, we are 10-3. They are 10-12. And if you look at league and home and away and all that kind of good stuff, at home they have a better record at 6-1. We're both 4-1 away. We went both 4-1 in league. And look at our scoring averages right here. So Palisades is averaging 37 points per game. Granada Hills is averaging 46 points per game. Keep that in mind. All righty. Let's see. Okay. Now let's break down the team stat comparison, okay? Rushing yards per game. Palisades is averaging 173 yards. Passing per game. I'm sorry, rushing. 173. Granada Hills. You see that number right there? If you see that number right there, just go ahead and put it in the chat. You see how many yards that Granada Hills is averaging rushing? Put it in the chat for me. Just want to make sure you understand the severity of the situation. How many yards are they averaging? Man, they got these two dynamite running backs. And they run the ball a whole bunch. A whole bunch, you guys. 410 yards rushing per game. So here's where our defense really needs to be on it, because they don't throw the ball that much. In fact, it says yards passing per game for Granada. How many yards are they passing per game, according to Max Preps? Right here, it says 0. That means every single play, they run. They run and run. That's all they do. They don't throw the ball. Man. Yes. Lisa's understanding. She's understanding the assignment. Our team, our defense has to be keyed in on those running backs. You can't arm tackle. That's what our team does sometimes. We can't arm tackle. No, we got to wrap these guys up because they like to run. 410 yards rushing, 0 yards passing. Now, if you look at us, we're right at 170 yards per game passing. Last week, Roman had 223. The week before that, he was at 83, right? So, yeah. We're going to have to make sure our defense is stellar. It's on point because these guys, they know how to score. They're averaging 46 points a game. So we're going to have to stop them. Okay. Total yards per game. So 340, 410. Again, that's 410, and that's only just rushing. Sacks per game, we're right at 2. We're kind of even. We have 2.8. They're 2 sacks per game. And then points per game, again, we're averaging 36. They're averaging 45. Now, down here it says 45. Up here it says 46. So you're kind of off by a point or two, right? A little semantics. We know it doesn't matter. 45, 46. We averaging 36 points a game. So we're definitely have to bring out the big guns and do what we need to do. Stealthy with the plan. Absolutely, man. We have to make sure we wrap up these guys. Our defensive line cannot allow these guys to get in the secondary, because, like I said, one of them runs track and he's fast. He's a D1 commit. I forgot what college he's committed to, but he's committed to play football, and I'll find out next. So his name is, here's some of their team leaders, okay? Team leaders. Check out their team leaders. Christopher Washington, he's averaging 107 yards per game. That's cool. Dijon Stanley, 183 per game. We told you, all they do is run. Roman LaScala passing. Dijon Stanley, maybe he's their QB too. Maybe they line up in the Wildcat. Wildcat is basically when the QB, or it doesn't even have to be the QB. It could be a running back or wide receiver lines up in the position of the QB and just takes off running. That's probably what they're doing. They're probably running some kind of wildcat, right? So yeah, they have him. They have him in that quarterback. Total yards per game, 145. Dejon Stanley, 183.7. Xavier Riley, 6.5 tackles per game. Richard, 7.2. Dylan, 1 sack per game. Oliver, a half a sack. And then Christopher Washington, he's averaging 7.5 points per game. Dejon Staley, 18 points per game. So do you see a name? Do you see something here? There's one name that's very, very, that stands out for Granada Hills. Maureen, she says, well, here, let me go back. Let me go back. Renee says, we tackle more and can add sacks. Absolutely. We can get some more. Now, sacks in this case is not it's not even a issue because they don't have like a real QB who's throwing the ball. It's just this guy, Dejon Stanley, right? And then Maureen says, our D was awesome last week. Absolutely, it was. They didn't fold. And sometimes our team gets a little frustrated a little bit. And so I'm glad they did not get frustrated. They went ahead and played. I'm sure the coaches are going to put in a wonderful game plan that's going to speak to them, making sure that the D is consistent as it has been over the season, right? Our defense is pretty dope. I mean, yeah, they scored 36 points last week. But, we came back that third quarter. Our offense outplayed our defense in that third quarter. We scored 28 points in the third quarter, and so that's awesome. That's great because it takes two to tango. We need the offense and the defense, right? Defense is going to stop our opponent. Offense is going to put points on the board. So, but this guy's name right here, Dejon Stanley, his name stands out, and not only his name, he has a cousin that's also on the team. So we got to watch out for him as well. Let's see. Maureen says every play. I don't know if he's playing every play as in the Wildcat. This is me. I haven't watched any of their film, so I might kind of look at some of their film on here on Max Preps, just to give me an idea of kind of what they do, and then talking about Wildcat QB. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 400 and something yards, or they're averaging as a team 400 yards, and he's averaging almost 200 yards, 183 yards per game. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. So, we had a heavy dose last week of the guy throwing the ball. What was his name? Corley, 381 yards. Yeah. These dudes, they just run. They just run the ball. And that's been their MO over the years. They only run. They've never had a decent throwing QB. And to put this in perspective, if I could put this in perspective, you guys who are watching, if I put this in perspective for the past probably 5 or 6, 7 years, we have won that Charter Bowl game. Now, last year, Dejon Stanley did not play because he was injured, but we ended up winning that game. And so, now's where the rubber meets the road. This is it right here. This is for all the marbles. We need to win this game. And our defense needs to tighten up. Offense, I'm sure, needs to continue to produce. And then, in the game on Friday, one of the things that kind of bothered me just a little bit was our receivers, they had the ball kind of hit them in the numbers in the hands, and they weren't able to catch the ball. They weren't able to hold on to it. So for me, some of the keys to the game will be defense. We cannot arm tackle. We have to wrap up. We have to key in. So our linebackers have to key in on this guy, Dejon Stanley, and his cousin, right? Key in on them, wrap them up. Don't let him get loose. He has some speed. Don't let him get in secondary, right? Another key would be for our offensive line to just do what we normally need to do. We need to support Chris. There was a couple of times last week when this is my opinion, where it didn't look like the O-line was doing what they need to do to, allow Chris and some of the other rushers, running backs to, get on the edge. And so we need to step up and do that. And then Special teams has always been a factor, and I love the way that our 2 or 3 headed monster with special teams. If Amari's back there, or Christopher's back there, or Marcus is back there, or Xavier's back there, Chris is back there, we need the good hands. We need the good hand people to make sure that we don't fumble the ball when it's kicked to us, when it's punted to us, and we can make some positive things happen. So those are some of my keys to the game. Renee says, if O-line matches up well, the linebackers and secondary needs to communicate. Absolutely. I totally agree. Because, as we know, I just keep saying, this is going to be a speed game. This is going to be a true test. This last game right here, this is going to be a true test, right? And maybe it's good that we didn't play them in the Charter Bowl early in the year, There might be some pros and cons to it. But if we did, we probably would have a better idea of what kind of plays they run. So, absolutely. Our adrenaline needs to match up. Yes, that's one thing that I'm glad that our team did not fold on, right? Sometimes when they get down. Now, we were down 14-7 in the second quarter, but the boys kept playing. They kept playing. And, but yeah, sometimes they'll get a little out of sorts, really not in the game if they get down. So I was glad to see that they played well when they were down by 7 points. And then, I'm always saying, the sidelines need to call that run pass call every single defensive play. Now, I kind of messed up during the game. I was like, hey, pass play. And I'm like, okay. Someone looked at me and was like, dude, we're on offense. We don't need to call the run pass play. But, yeah. So, and then D-line, absolutely. D-line's they're going to be worked. So they better be, they better bring their lunch bag on Saturday afternoon, because they're going to need their hard hat. And they're really going to have to work extra hard to get this win tonight. So here's what I wanted to do before I close tonight. I wanted to see, what do you think the final score is going to be? Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win? Man, this is like a good game right here. This is one of the reasons why I thought we would be a better fit in the Division I bracket instead of the open. I was not disappointed that we were not in the open bracket. I thought this was the bracket for us. And if we could run the table, we could win. So we got all the way. We went through Huntington Park. We went through Donnelly. We went through Narbonne, who's proven, who's tried and tested to be a championship football team. Now we got Granada Hills. And from my understanding, Granada Hills hasn't won anything in a very long time as well. So this is going to be a very, very interesting game. And in fact, let me pull up this graphic real quick. Here we go. I posted this on Saturday morning. So the Dolphins beat the Gauchos in their semifinal game and will play for the Division I title next week against Granada Hills Charter High School. Palisades is making its third appearance in the city final. The Dolphins lost the title game to San Fernando in 1974, lost the 3A final to Franklin in 1987. So we're the third time. This is the third time that Pali will be going to a championship game. So, yeah. When you walk into the gym, let me just put it in let me put it in perspective for you. When you walk into the gym, you'll see banners for water polo. And congratulations to the water polo. They won their city, and then they won their regional final. So they're champs 2 times over. You'll see championship banners for tennis, for cross country, for lacrosse, for girls basketball. There's something missing. There's a banner missing for football. And so these boys here, they really, really, really want this. They want it really, really bad. And let me tell you how bad personally. Let me bring in my personal story, my anecdote here. Yeah, absolutely. Volleyball as well. I mean, volley is okay. Are you the volleyball coach? I think you are, Renee. You look like you are. Anyway, we want to hang a championship banner. So here's my one family anecdote. I had a son who played. My oldest son, he played. He graduated in 2018, so he played on the 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. He played 4 years there. 3 years he was on varsity. I think the most they made it, the highest they made it in the bracket was a quarterfinal game. My second son, he played a couple of seasons with my oldest son. He made it to a semifinal game. My youngest son, he has an opportunity to play on the championship. He has an opportunity to win a championship. And so that conversation is going to happen next week when the older two come in, and they're going to be at the game as well, cheering on their younger brother. Man, it's going to be so awesome. So, he has a little chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove something, not only to, he wants to add a banner in the gymnasium for his football team, but also he wants to prove to his brothers, like, look, our squad did something that you guys weren't able to do. So that's going to be a wonderful Thanksgiving conversation. So that's just kind of my anecdote right there. And, man, I'm looking forward. Renee, so you never did tell me if you're a volleyball coach. You look like the volleyball coach. That's why you probably said volleyball. Yeah, absolutely. Strong family. Yeah, no, man, it's a wonderful thing. And to that end, I encourage everyone to come on out and support this football. Come on out to the championship game. The tickets are on gofan.co. They're $15 and $10 each, I believe. If you're a student, they're $10. Okay, baseball. Okay, got you. Okay. So come on out, man. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. Tanisha says, I'll be there. Hey, that's awesome. I'm glad you'll be there, and it's going to be a fun time. It's really going to be a fun time. Come out and cheer loud, cheer hard. We need the support of the Pali community to cheer our boys on. They always say third time is the charm. So in 1974, we couldn't get it done. 1987, they couldn't get it done. So in 2022, we're trying to get it done, right? So hopefully you're understanding what I'm putting down. Come on out and support the Pali football team. All right. So I don't have anyone putting down what they think the final score is going to be. Let's see. Okay, I do see a couple of scores. Okay, so Maureen says, she says 47-35 Pali. Okay, all right. Renee says Pali by 3. All right, that's cool. Lisa says Pali for the win. I'm not calling it. Absolutely. I got you. And then she says, hoping you would be live streaming. So check this out. I'm hoping that I'll be live streaming too from the sidelines. So we have a request to be added to the name of people who can access the field. So I've already talked to some of the people, and in fact, I actually know the CIF Los Angeles City section commissioner. Our children went to school together in college, and so we've had a couple of conversations, and so hopefully she'll recognize my name. Be like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Have Facebook James on the sidelines doing what he normally does. So hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. And I do have a graphic ready just in case I am allowed. But I'm going to say that I am. Yes, my goal is to be on the sidelines and not watching from the stands. It would be so painful to do, to call the game and watch it from the sidelines. I haven't done that in 5 or 6 seasons here at Pali. So we'll see. Tanisha says Pali for the win. Absolutely. We appreciate you watching, Tanisha, Blake. And I'm just hopeful that the boys will win. I'm going to say it's about, what would the final score be? I'm going to say, I kind of like a score in the 40s. Renee said win by 3. I'm going to say we're going to win by a touchdown, maybe 42-35 Pali, right? But I'm sure there might be a field goal in there somewhere. I'm going to say 42-35. That's going to be my final score. All right. So we'll see. Other than that, man, I think I'm done for the night. We've been on almost an hour. And so, again, just going through our final reminders. Again, come on out, and we'll post this on our social media if we haven't done so already. Come on out, 3 o'clock, November 26th. Come on out to Los Angeles Valley College. It's going to be a wonderful game. Come out there before 3 o'clock. Just come out there at 2:30. Get your seat, get your popcorn ready, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. Hopefully the sun will be up. You won't have to bring a whole bunch of blankets and things of that nature. However, it will get kind of chilly, like around 5 or so, so you might want to bring an extra blanket or so. And then Lisa says, have the family hoping to watch from out of town. So, okay, Lisa, do me a favor. Who is your relative that's playing on the football team? I would really, really love to know who your relative is. And then, if you're alumni, man, hype it up again, with the alumni, with the people in your crew. When you attended Pali, have them come on out and, wear your Letterman's jackets, wear something that represents Pali to the game. We want to pack the stands as best as we can to let our team know that we're there to support them. And it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful night. So I'm just waiting for Lisa to tell me who she's related to, and then we're going to close the show. I'm going to rest my voice, go ahead and grab some tea. Maureen was asking me to take care, get rest, and all that kind of good stuff. So, let's see, where was it? Right. Yeah. So she says, please stay healthy. So that's my goal once we finish. Lisa, you're not going to answer? It's all good. I get it. You still can put it in the comments, and I'll pick it up after I close the show. So again, this is Facebook James. Looking forward to seeing everyone this coming Saturday, November 26th, Los Angeles Valley College. Tickets can be purchased on gofan.co. Oh, okay. Liam. Okay. Freshman. Got you. Okay. All right. Number 75. All right, Lisa. We appreciate you. Thank you for answering the question. And like I said, come on out this coming Saturday. And I'm going to close the show because I can say that about 5 more times. Okay, so you guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks for watching. And as always, go Dolphins. Peace out. Thanks for watching.
Hey, win on me, win on 3, ready, 1, 2, 3. Win! Oh, yeah! Stop playing with a piece! 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 Stop playing with a piece!